RG3 impressed last night as the Browns quarterback. He played most of the first half yesterday against the Falcons, completing 6 of 8 passes for 2 TDs. He also ran for 36 yards on 3 carries. Stephen A., are the Browns going to be better than we think with RG3 at the helm?
No. I mean, they're not going to be worse than the 3-13 season that they had last year. But are they going to be much better? No. But I don't think it's because of RG3. First of all, it was nice to see him knowing how to slide. It's very, very important. He's saying that, you know, how to slide. Maybe he's been taking some baseball lessons. Maybe he's been hanging out with Terry Francona and the Cleveland Indians. Who knows? I hope he is, because he definitely needs to slide. But I don't think this season is going to be great. I don't think it's going to be the fault of Hugh Jackson. I don't think it's going to be the fault of RG3. I think that when you have a roster bereft of talent at a multitude of positions, because they basically cleaned house. They've had like 14 new draft picks from last April. I definitely think it's one of those situations where you look at the Cleveland Browns and you got to ask yourself, what do they have? Are we really supposed to depend on Josh Gordon to be available? We hope and pray that he will, because we wish nothing but the best for him. But hoping and praying is entirely different than expecting. And so you got to look at it from that grade. Barnage, I mean, he had a good year last year. We get that. Had over 1,000 receiving yards, about 79 receptions. We get that. Duke Johnson, he can run the ball out of the backfield, but the offensive line is still suspect. That means the protection for the quarterback is still suspect. That means as a result of that, you're going to have to run the football more than you're throwing it, because obviously you're not going to be able to create with so many protect the quarterback as much as you would like. All those things considered, combined with the defense being highly suspect in the AFC North, and there is no question in my mind that the Cleveland Browns are destined for last place. I don't think it's going to even be close. And as a result, they will have a miserable season record-wise, but I think a very good season in terms of recognizing progress and being on the come-up.
I think Hugh Jackson makes that O-line better. I think you're wrong. I think the Browns are going to be ascending. I don't think so highly of the Ravens, and everyone is already tweeting me, oh, you said they're going to be better than that. It's possible. If I had to list them, I would list them 4th out of 4 teams, but I don't know. The Ravens, like, we'll see. I know the Steelers and the Bengals will be the class of that division. But let me tell you what I saw from RG3 yesterday. I saw a guy who has been properly humbled by the game. RG3 was such a phenom that he played as though he thought he could impose his physical attributes on the game. No one can do that at the quarterback position. Not even Cam Newton. Like, nobody can do that in the long run. And I saw a guy who was willing to slide, as you mentioned, who took the sack instead of trying to do too much. Still, I don't know if I'd say struggled in the short and intermediate game, but wasn't making those reads and completions. But let me tell you something. If you can get behind the defense, as Terrell Pryor did, as Barnage did, as Josh Gordon will certainly do if he's on the field, he will get you that ball. Robert Griffin III has not only does he have a cannon, but he has touch on those downfield passes, and that can make up for a whole lot.
You hope.
You get behind the defense, he will find you.
Well, you hope. What we saw from him in his rookie season, we saw the occasional deep ball, but primarily his athleticism and his breakaway speed running north and south. He's not the most elusive runner in the world, but he will blow right by you in the pass. Whether that's still the case or not remains to be seen, but he was never an elusive runner. He just had breakaway speed. And in terms of his deep ball, does he have deep ball capability? Sure, but there were times where the ball flooded a little bit. It stayed up there a little bit too high, a little bit too long, and you don't have Deshaun Jackson back there. Now, let's keep in mind that even though Josh Gordon is a stud and Barnage is good, and we get all of that, you talking about Deshaun Jackson as one of the elite deep threat in the game in Washington. Didn't get too many of those, and it wasn't just because of his injury.
But Gordon's an overall better receiver.
Yes, of course, of course. But what I'm saying to you is that in the end, you have to protect him enough, because, again, to throw the deep ball, you got to have time.
So who better than Hugh Jackson?
I'm not. Well, again, when you talking about who better than, I'm saying Hugh Jackson's going to get this team steered in the right direction.
Yeah, but particularly on the offensive line, they're going to do some things.
I don't think it's going to be this season. I think they got too much stacked against them. I think it's too soon to expect that from them. And you got 3 teams
quickly.
That are go ahead.
The schedule. At Eagles, that's a winnable game.
Yeah.
The Eagles are no great shakes. You think the Ravens are great. They play them in Cleveland. I don't know about that game. At Miami, that's a winnable game. At Washington, Washington should win. Patriots, first week that Brady's back, they're going to kill him, of course. At Titans, winnable. At Bengals, okay, the Bengals will win. Jets in Cleveland, the Jets should win. Cowboys, Romo probably won't even be available by then. I mean, I'm looking at that schedule. They could have as many wins as losses 2/3 through the season.
They could, but they won't. Because they're the Browns, and history says so. Last several years, what is it? 2011, 4 wins. 2012, 5 wins. 2013, 4 wins. 2014, 7 wins. That was good. Last year, 3 wins. Listen, they're moving in the right direction, but there's a reason they crash landed and just cleaned house, because they don't have much, and you're not going to get it back that quick.
RG3 is going to surprise some people.
You know who looked all right? Jimmy G. After Tom cut his thumb there,
Who is
putting his
that?
cleats on.
Who's that?
Jimmy G, the quarterback for the Patriots.
I don't know who that is. What's his name?
Right. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Garoppolo.
He looked nice in that Belichick system. He was all right. Gentlemen, you have a lovely weekend. It was fantastic spending the week with you.
Always.
You guys have a wonderful weekend. We will see you on Monday.